So good evening everyone. Welcome to the final day 4 of Python Bootcamp. So today we'll be learning Python pandas, and we will be doing it more practically. I'll help you install Python, I'll help you install pandas, and we'll work on ideally. You can read your code over Jupyter too, but I'll tell you ideally it's more easy according to me. So yes, let's start. Am I audible? I hope I'm audible. So let me introduce you with Panda. Panda is arguably the most important Python package for data analysis. Like to read from and write to an extensive makes it a versatile tool for data science practitioners. Its data manipulation functions makes it a highly accessible and practical tool for aggregating, analyzing, and cleaning data. So actually, what is Python? What is Pandas? Pandas is data manipulation package in Python for tabular data. That is data in the form of rows and columns, also known as data frames. Intuitively, you can think of a data frame as an Excel sheet, like I shared an Excel sheet with you. Pandas functionality includes data transformations like splitting rows and putting subsets to calculating summary statistics such as the mean, reshaping data frames, joining data frames together. Pandas works well with other popular Python data science packages, often called the data ecosystem. It includes NumPy for numerical computing, which we did already, Matplotlib, C1, and other data visualization packages, and skitlearn for machine learning. So, what is Pandas used for actually? Panda is used throughout the data analysis workflow. With Pandas, you can import data set from data spreadsheets from like CSV files. What are CSV files? They are comma separated values and many more. You can clean data set, for example, by dealing with missing values. You can tidy data sets by reshaping their structure into a suitable format for analysis. You can aggregate data by calculating summary statistics such as like mean of columns, correlation between them, and many more. You can visualize data sets and uncover their insights. Pandas also contains functionality for time series analysis and analyzing text data. And now I'll tell you what are the key benefits of the Pandas. Undoubtedly, Pandas is a powerful data manipulation tool packaged with several benefits, including made for Python. Like it's less verbose per unit operation. What it means, like code written in Pandas is less, requiring fewer lines of code to get desired output. Panda offers exceptionally intuitive data representation that facilitates easier data understanding and analysis. It supports an extensive set of operations from exploratory data analysis, dealing with missing values, calculating statistics, visualizing univariates, and bivariate. Also, we can work with large set of data when you are working with pandas. Okay. Now, as someone requested that I should tell them how to install this. Yes. Now I'll be telling you how to install pandas, how to install Python with the computer. One second, I'll share my screen. I hope my complete screen. So to download pandas, to work on pandas, you have to download Python. Like Python, ideally, like you just search Python. And the first thing that comes, you'll click upon that. And once you click upon the link, you'll be seeing this kind of thing. You'll just go download and download the latest version here. I've already downloaded it, so I won't use it. And after downloading, you just have to do the required tasks. Like you have to install it correctly, and you have to fill in the location where you want to operate your Python, like for everything. Like today I uploaded it on my desktop, trying to move it to a folder. After moving it into one of the folder, actually the ideally wasn't working. So like a permanent, or like you have to change or leave it command. After downloading pandas, you just have to go to your command prompt, just type cmd, and after this, like you will search for Python, like how will you see the Python version, pandas version. Like if I do Python version, I'm able to see that my Python version is this. And once you download Python, this thing of the Python, if once you download the software, you'll be able to see that your PIP is also automatically installed. So my PIP version is this. Okay. Once you are done with installing Python, what you have to do is, once you are done with installing Python, you have to write pip install pandas within your Chrome command. Like you do pip install Python. Once you have to do it, you enter it and you run your ID here. Like I have already opened it. This kind of thing will appear on your screen. You all are downloading and Python. And now you will be working on this ideally shell. I hope I am clear. Okay, so let's move on with ideally. Exporting the dataset, importing the dataset will be working under the ideally only. So just once. Move completely. Okay, so I have to share my entire screen to ideally. Cool, it's fine. I hope you all are able to see my ideally. I won't be able to see the meeting screen. Pardon me for that if like do message on the WhatsApp group if my voice is breaking or you're not able to see the screen. Okay, we are done with installing Python. Now we will move on with this importing data in Python, like importing data in pandas. So how will you import panda in your ideally? Once you are done with downloading, just write import panda. Pandas. After that, import pandas as PDF. Like I have done a short form of this. Okay. After importing pandas as PDF, I can import my different files. If I want to import my CSV file, if I want to import my Excel, if I want to import my Excel sheet, how will I do it? Like here I have my Excel sheet, so how will I do it? I'll just write one data name. Like df is my data frame. I am assigning df as my data frame name. df is equal to pd. pd is the panda short form I have assigned. Dot read underscore excel. And then I'll copy my path here. How will I copy my path here? I'll just show you. Like here is my Excel sheet. So I'll just go to my path. Okay. So what we have to do here is one different thing is like we have these slashes. We have to change them to these to make them work. I want you all to work along with me. You'll learn pandas really well. Okay, so now my Excel sheet is being imported into it. Okay. Now I have imported data in pandas. How will I export my data into pandas? Like Just as pandas can import data from various file types, it also allows you to export data into various formats. This happens especially when data is transformed using pandas and need to be saved locally on your machine. Like how to output pandas data frames into various formats, like outputting a data frame into CSV file, outputting a data frame into JSON file, outputting a data frame in text file, Excel sheet, different. Like here we don't need to export it, but if I want to export it, how will I be doing it? Will I just be doing CS to, let's say I want to do it into Excel, so I'll be doing Excel and I'll be copying my path here again. And path, let's say I'll put in my path here. Okay, then I'll be just writing index equal to false. Once I'm done with this, I'll just do it and then my Excel sheet will be, it will be imported into Excel sheet. Okay, I won't be doing that here. So let's move on. Let's learn how will you view and understand data frames using Python. Pandas. Okay, so I want you to look over that Excel sheet that I shared into the group. Now I will show you how to view data using .head. Like I'll just comment it here to view data. Okay, I told you that you will how to comment in Python. Like hashtag view data. This won't be needed by Python. Okay, so yes, how will you do it? It will be done like df.head. When I do this, I will be able to see first few rows of the data frame. What is my data frame? That crop yield data frame that I shared with you. When I do this, I'll be able to see some of the first rows, 0th row, first row, second row, third row. And when I do df.tail, I'll be able to see some of the last rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of last. Okay, and when I do df.tail n equal to 10, then I'll be able to see the last 10 rows. Okay. After this, how can I understand my data using describe? Like now I'll be understanding my data. So how I'll understand my data is df.describe. Yeah. The describe method prints the summary statistics of all numerical columns such as count, mean, standard deviation, range, and quartiles of numeric columns. It will just print the summary statistics like I did. As you are able to see here, I'm able to see the count, mean, standard deviation, minimum 25%, 50%, 75% of it. Let's say I just want to see the percentiles of 0.3, like I'm able to see 25%, 58%, and 75%. What if I want to see of 38% or 50%? How will I do it? df.describe percentiles is equal to, we'll use square bracket here, 0.3. It means 3500 is 0.3. I want to see of 0.52. I want to see of 0.72. Yes. Yes. 1 second. I think I did some mistake. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Now, as you're able to see, I'm able to see 30%, 50%, and 70% of it. Okay. Now I'll show you how. Yeah. Now I'll show you that like if you want to transpose your statistics, how will you do it? I hope you know what is meant by statistics. I hope you are able to see here because I can't move it further. Like if you want to transpose, you can do it by this. Like df is your data frame name, and you describe it up, and you also transpose it. Now you will be able to see your complete Excel sheet now transposed. 1 second, so yes. Okay. Okay, now I will make you understand that how will you understand your data using .info. Actually, .info method is a quick way to look at the data types, missing values, data size of a data frame. Here I am setting the show counts argument to true. Like I'll just write it out. df.info, and within the bracket I'll write show underscore counts is equal to true, comma, memory usage is equal to true, comma, the rows is equal to true. Yes, after let me check if there is an error. Yeah, it's correct. Info. Oh, shit. Memory usage. Yeah, once I do it, what am I able to see is, yeah, once I do this, I'm able to see that actually it prints the full summary of info. Like when verbose is set to true, it prints the full summary, and when I do memory usage is equal to true, it shows the total memory usage of data frame elements. Okay, I hope you are able to understand. Like the memory usage is 34.0 kilobytes here. Now I'll make you understand how can you understand your data using shape. Like what is shape? The number of rows and columns of a data frame can be identified the shape attribute of the data frame. It results a tuple. What is that tuple? Row, comma, column, and can be indexed to get only rows and only column count as output. Just a second. Shape, yes. So I'll do df dot shape. So what is my shape here? 217, 7,20. Okay, what if I do df dot shape, and within shape I'll do 0. What I say, what I am able to see, I'm just able to see the number of rows. And what if I do df dot shape 1? I am able to see number of columns. Okay, what if I want to get all the columns and all the rows? Get all columns or rows. What if I want to get that? I will do just df dot columns. See, you are able to see all the column names within this. And what if I want to convert this number of column thing into list? I'll do list and df dot columns. See, as you are able to see, now my whole column list is converted into this. Okay. Now let's learn about how will you check missing values in Python. The sample data set that I have shared you doesn't have any missing value. Let's introduce a few to make things interesting. The dot copy method makes a copy of the original data frame. I'll show you how to copy your data frame. So what will I do? I just assign another data frame df2, which is equal to df dot copy. I'm creating copy of df data frame. So now my df2 data frame is set, and now this is done to ensure that any changes to the copy doesn't reflect in the original data frame. I'll be using some functions here which will change the data into the data frame. That's why I've created one copy here. Now I'll share. Now I'll see what if I do df2. I'll explain the use later. df2 dot row 2, 5, comma. I'll just assign one attribute name that is fertilizers in our data set. Fertilizer. I have to be very careful with the spelling. If I do anything wrong, my complete code will go wrong. So is equal to, like, you have to be careful with the attribute values. Yes. So what I have done here is I have used .loc. Like you can set rows 2 to 5. Like I have set rows 2 to 5 of the fertilizers column to NaN values. That is none value, which denotes the missing value. What if I do this? Yes, now I just assign them. I just want to print them. Once you do that, you are able to see these. Like you are able once. Now you can see the number of rows from like 1 to 7. You can see that from 0 to 6, these are NaN. What does these display? These display that actually there were no missing values. Okay. And what if I do df2? df2 dot is null dot head 7. So here I'm checking whether each element in the data frame is missing. I'll check by using the is dot null method here. Okay. So I did this. Yes, the output came here. I hope you are all clear with what I am doing. Now let's come up to slicing. The pandas package offers several ways to subset, filter, and isolate data in your data frames. Here, you'll be able to see the most common ways. So, how can you isolate one column? Like you can isolate a single column using the square bracket with a column name in it. The output is the pandas series object. A pandas series is a 1D array like which contains data of any type, including integers, floats, string, boolean, Python objects, etc., etc. And also a data frame is comprised of many series that acts as a column. I'll just show you. What if, let's say from the Excel sheet, I want to print out the rainfall columns. How you do it? Data frame DS, and within the square brackets, as I mentioned earlier, let's say I want to print, I want to get the rainfall columns. I'll just write rain. I'll just write rain, fall, and there was one space, yes, MM. Once I do this, as you're able to see, you get from 0 to 216, you are able to get the whole column of rainfall MM. For any column number, you can do the same. Okay, now, okay, I forgot. If I want to isolate 2 or more columns, how will you do it? I'll just show you. So you'll just do df, and within this one column name, comma, this one column name, and you'll just use the square bracket once again. Square bracket once again. I have to write the names here. df rain, fall, mm, comma. Let's choose nitrogen. Nitrogen. And it was named like this. Yes, once I do this, I hope there's no error. Yes, once I do this, we're able to see you get the rainfall and nitrogen level. Okay. Now we are done with isolating the columns. What if I want to isolate one row? How will you do this? You don't have, like, we don't have any name for rows, right? We had name for columns that were rainfall, nitrogen, phosphorus we have. But what if I want to isolate one row? I will do it like df, data frame name, df dot index equal 1. Okay, once you do it, it will print the first column. Yes, now as you are able to see, it printed the first row with all the attributes we had, rainfall, fertilizers, and to the 20th column we had. But if I want to isolate more than one row, here it is is not like columns, like you'll put comma and one extra square bracket you'll get. No, you have to do like df dot index dot is in, like you have to specify one range 2, comma 10. Let's say I want to go from the row 2 to row 10. Not row 10, it will display till row 9. Okay. Make sure if you want to get the row 10, then you have to put 2, comma 11 here. Index is in range this. Okay, so yes, now you are able to see we got from 2 to 10. Okay, now I'll teach you how can you use dot log and dot I log to fetch rows. You can fetch specified rows by labels or conditions, and you can use dot log, that is location, and dot I log, that is integer location. So what is the basic difference between dot log and dot I log? So yes, what is the basic difference between is dot log is location that is used as a label to point to a row, column or cell, whereas dot I log is integer location which uses the numeric position. Okay, to understand the difference between the two, let me tell you practically. So df2, I am using the copy here, df2 dot index is equal to range 1, comma, let's say I am taking 218. df2 dot index equal range 1, comma 2 and 8. Number of rows we have is 2 and 8, right? So I have to write 2 and 8. It means from 1 to 2 and 6 we will be taking. One second. Yes, so it will be taking from 1 to 2 and 8. Once I do this, I have to location. As you're able to see, I'm able to point to a particular location. Like I am able to get a series instead of a data frame. The one in here that I have noted represents the row index, whereas the one that I'll be using in integer location is the row position. Like I'll show you. What if I do df2 dot I log 1? So in integer location, it will represent the row position, that is the first row. So yes, when I did this, as you're able to see, it represented the first row. Okay. Now let me tell you one more thing about location and integer log. That is, you can also subset with location and integer location by using a list instead of a range. What if I do df2 dot location of 100 to 110? Let's see the output here. Now, as you are able to see, you are able to get from 100 to 110th location, and when I will do df2 dot I location within 100 and 110, you'll able to see it represented from 101 to 110. Okay, it represented 10 rows and 21 columns, whereas it represented 11 rows and 21 columns. I hope you're clear with it. Now I'll tell you one more use of location and integer location, that is df2. What if I do df2 dot location and within it I do 100, comma 200? Now, as you can see, it showed only the 100 and the 200 location. And when I do df2 dot I location of 100, 200, you'll able to see that it represented 101 and 201 location. I hope you are clear with what is with location and what is with I location. Okay. Okay. Now I'll show you conditional slicing. I showed you the normal slicing thing. If you want to isolate one row or if you want to isolate one column, how will you do it? If you want to isolate more than one column, how will you do it? Now I'll tell you how will you conditional slice. It means it will fit a certain condition. Actually, pandas let you filter data by conditions over rows and columns. For example, if I want to select the row where like rainfall is just 849 or it's 850 mm, here I'll be isolating rows using brackets, like as we did in the previous section. And instead of inputting the row indices or column names, I'll put a condition where I'll say if my rainfall is equal to 849. So let me show you here. I show you this. I think it will give error and I'll tell you why. Yes, it gives error. So what error it gives is there is no data frame with attribute nitrogen. It shows that there is no attribute such as nitrogen in here. But actually, what is the logic behind this is when you see in the data set within the nitrogen attribute, it's not integers or not like float value in there. So Pandas and Python actually gets confuses in this. So when you have the very clear, like very particular or clear type of data set into the data type into the data set, then only you can use this. Now I would like to show you how can you do cleaning using Python Pandas. So data cleaning is actually one of the most common tasks in data science. Like if you pursue your career in data science or something, cleaning the data is very important. Pandas actually lets you pre-process data for any use, like including but not limited to training machine learning and deep learning models. Okay, I'll use a data frame df2 like earlier, and I'll show you one thing. See, what if I do df2 dot is null dot sum? When I do this, are you able to see like what has come up here? It actually summed up like how many values and what was the total of it. Let's say one of the column, we have all columns filled in here. Let's say our yield column was 0. So the sum here would come 0 instead of 114, right? So using this value, you are able to see whether one of the column, one of the row, anything is null or not. You can see 0. And after getting a null value, you can ultimately delete that row or column to minimize your data space in it. Okay. Okay. Now I'll tell you how can you deal with the missing data technique. Actually, we have many techniques. For one of the technique is dropping the missing value. One of the technique is dropping the missing value. So how can you do it? I'll copy my df2 framework once more so that there's no change in the original one. df3 is equal to df2 dot copy, and I would do dot drop na method. So what is dot na? Sorry, dot drop na method. So here we are like one way to deal with missing data is to drop it. This is particularly useful in cases where like you have plenty of data and tossing a small portion won't impact the downstream analysis. You can use the drop na method like this. df3 is equal to df3 dot drop NA. So like this, when you do this and you get the shape of your, as you're able to see, you got 0, 21. So dropping a few, like we had a very small data set. What if you have a very big data set? So when you will drop a small portion or you will drop a very like minute portion, it won't affect your downstream analysis. In fact, it will help you in the long run. Okay. Okay. Now I'll tell you. Yeah. Actually, now the axis argument, like the axis or the index argument we were discussing, it helps you specify whether you are dropping rows or columns with missing values. The default axis removes the rows containing NaNs, like like none values or null values. If you use axis is equal to 1, it removes the columns with 1 or more than null values. Okay. Also, notice how we are using the argument in place is equal to 2. Like, what if I write df3 dot drop NA, like I wrote here before, but within the brackets this time I write in place is equal to true and the axis I put here is equal to 1. So yeah. So what is the meaning of it basically? Axis is equal to 1 is used to remove the column with 1 or more than NaN values. Okay. And the in place is equal to true lets you skip saving the output of drop NA into a new data frame. Okay, and what if I do df3.head? I already told you what is the use of dot head method. It helps you print the very first few rows. Okay, it showed empty data frame and it showed the columns. I hope you are clear with it. As I didn't specify the df3, I dropped a few things here. It is being dropped. That's why it's showing empty data frame. Okay. Now I'll show you the second technique where you can deal with missing data technique, that is replace the missing values. Okay, how can you do it? What if I assign mean value equal, like I just introduced one variable here that is mean value and I did df3 data frame, third data frame, and I do frame. Keep in mind with the double inverted commas or single inverted commas where I have edited mm and dot me. When I do this, I'm actually assigning the column of like the rainfall column. I'm calculating the mean of it, and I'm assigning that mean value to variable mean value. And when I do df3 is equal to df3 or dot fill NA, the variable name, mean value. Yes. So basically what I did is I filled my yes. Actually what I did is instead of replacing missing values with a summary statistics or a specific value, like I did the depending case on the use. Like for example, if there is one missing row from the column I took rainfall, and there is one missing row into it denoting like what amount of rainfall fall during the whole time, replacing the missing value with the average of rainfall value. That is what I have done here. Like I filled in the missing value with the mean value. Like it's not always correct, but we just filled in the missing value, like having one value that is the average of the whole column value and having one missing value. The data set with missing value has more drawback rather than having the mean value. I hope you are clear with it. And now I'll tell you how can you deal with the duplicate data. Now I will add some duplicate. Let's add some duplicate to the original data. And now I'll tell you how can you eliminate the duplicate data from the data frame. Now I'll use the dot concat method to concatenate the rows of the data frame that I have used. Okay, what if I do df3? One second, someone enter. Yes, what if I do df3 is equal to pd dot concat df2 comma df2. So what am I doing is here I am eliminating duplicates in the data frame. And actually we didn't have any duplicate things, I hope so, in the data frame itself. And when I calculate the shape here, see what does it show? 434, 21. Okay, and what if I want to drop this duplicate data set? I'll just do df3 is equal to df3 dot, I'll just use drop duplicates method here. And when I again calculate, you just see the difference between the duplicate values, like how many duplicate values you have. See, there's a huge difference. Like out of 434, only 211 values were here, and rest of them were duplicate. Okay, I hope you are clear with it. Now I'll show you how can you rename column. What if I want to rename column? Like rainfall NM is very fast. What if I want to write it like, I'll just df3 dot rename columns is equal to, I'll just write the original column name NM, and I just want to keep it very simple. I want to keep it to normal R. What if I do this? And I'll say keep I in place, is equal to true. Oh shit. Curly brackets will be implied here. Okay, so now I have actually into our df3, that is a copy of df2. What have I done is I have renamed my rainfall mm to R. And now what if I want to see if it got renamed or not? So what will I use? I'll use simple head. But I can use tail also. I just want to see the column name. Now as you are able to see, now you are able to see my rainfall column is renamed to R. Okay. Now I'll tell you how can you count in pandas. You can count in pandas using dot value counts method. So what I'll do is, into my original data set that was df, I'll just write I didn't change the name into df, I changed it to df. Let's say I just want to go with the original data frame. Let me choose the potassium column. Potassium. Okay. Okay. What if I do this? See what it did? It actually counted. It actually did count how many values, how many things had, like what the 19 values, like how many values had 19 values, 28 values had 19 values. Are you able to get it? How many values had 1.817 values? Only one value was there with value 1.8174. I hope you're able to get it. It doesn't make I know that it will not make sense right now, but when you are dealing with data sets, when you want to search anything, when you want to minimize a data set, and when you want to replace any rows or columns, it makes sense. Pandas make sense. These are very basics of pandas, which I am teaching right now. Now I'll tell you. Now I'll tell you how can you actually calculate your values when you want to normalize them. Like if I do normalize df and I just copy the name from here, and I do dot value counts. When I do counts, and within the counts, I actually do normalize is equal to true here. What does this do? Just to see. Now you're able to see. Are you able to configure what has happened here? Actually, I have added a normalized argument which returns proportions instead of absolute counts. Like it has given you the proportions, but it doesn't have given you the absolute counts. Okay. Now what if I do like 4 is equal to 4 is equal to false? With this whole value, if I do so is equal to false, what will it do? Let me just show you the output first. Yeah. So what does it do? It actually turned off the automatic sorting of the results. Okay. And actually it's true by default. The default sorting is based on the counts in descending order. I hope you understood what I did with sort is equal to false and normalize equal to true, and what I did with normal value counts. Okay. Now I'll be telling you how can you actually analyze your data in Python? Pandas. How can you calculate the mean median mode? Calculating the mean median mode is pretty easy. You can just calculate your mean by doing df dot mean. You can just calculate your mode by doing df dot mode, and same with the median. You can do like median. You can do like df dot median. I hope I don't have to calculate that. You'll just get the mean median mode of your code. Okay, what if I want to create new columns based on the existing columns? Like in df2, I had rainfall column, and what if I want to create the new nitrogen and potassium columns based upon that? So I'll just do is equal to is equal to df2. Within the df2 only, I'll be selecting the existing. You actually cannot assign new columns within the existing columns. You can do that. How will I do nitrogen? I'll just do the nitrogen column, and I'll also use my potassium column here. Yes. When I do this, actually it's assigned now, but I want to check how I do df2 dot its do tail this time. Yes. When we did this, now we're able to see actually we assigned nitrogen and potassium accordingly with rainfall. So yeah. Now, as I told you already, what did we do right? What were the key benefits of pandas? What were the key benefits of pandas? We can import data set from databases. I already told you how to import data set from databases like spreadsheets, CSV files, or Excel sheets. How can you clean your data set? I told you how can you clean your data sets. How can you duplicate files? How can you exclude some columns? Okay. I also told you how you can tidy your data sets. Like how could you reshape your structure? Like removing some columns won't create any effect. How can you calculate the summary? Summary as in how can you calculate the mean, standard deviation, and each and everything? Mean, standard deviation, minimum. How can you calculate the mean, median? That is a summary. How can you calculate? How will you like visualize it? I hope you all are clear with like this is all with the pandas. There is nothing. Yeah, one more thing is also there in pandas, that is grouping. One second. Yeah. One thing in pandas is aggregating data by grouping. Like panda lets you aggregate values by grouping them by specific column values. Okay, you can do that by combining dot group by values. Let's say if you want to group rainfall column with mean values of its particular mean values, you can directly do by dot group by method. Okay, I hope I'm clear with it. Yeah, that was the basic of that was a complete Python thing. If you want to deal with the data sets, you can go accordingly. I'll tell you more things about Python in just a second. Okay, so actually, two of you asked me, why are we actually using Python? Why will I use Python? I'll tell you why should we use Python and how it differs from different programming languages. First of all, just I'll share original screen. Yes. So first of all, actually Python is the beginner-friendly language. Like if you are a beginner in the programming world, then Python is actually the very best choice for you. Python has a readable syntax that is easy to understand. Okay, also the extensive modules and libraries that support Python are the best choice for developers. Also, it's the basic and direct thing when you want to pursue your career in AI ML, or if you want to carry on with data sciences. Okay. Also, Python doesn't need a compiler. Like in Java or in C++, you need a compiler. It doesn't need a compiler to translate code into the machine language before execution. Okay. Also, Python, I don't like. I just read it somewhere that Python has one of the largest community support. Like it has very vast network. Like people are using it in on various platforms, and there are like vast community. It also helps. It also offers help when someone is struggling without. Also, it is a portable language. Portable language like means programmers can actually reuse their code on different platforms without the need to write it all over again and again. And like what if you are working on Windows and you want to shift on Linux, then you don't have to rewrite your code again and again. Okay. Also, actually, Python has extensive library support. Like extensive library support, it means that it has like it is a simpler language, right? So it is a simple language. Why it is a simpler language comparatively? Because it has heavy libraries and module support. Like it can develop. It makes development easy for developers. It has free access to Python libraries, like, right? It also helps in contributing in many domains, as I told you, data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, web development too. And with the help of Python programming, actually the complex tasks can be broken down into simple parts and implemented efficiently with minimum efforts. Like for example, we did NumPy and pandas, right? So NumPy and pandas benefit from numerical computing and data analysis. Like there are many libraries like Django, TensorFlow, Skitlearn. Skitlearn is actually used for machine learning, and many other that will help in web development and stuff. Okay. So also, did you know that Python consists of C Java extended version? Actually, Python has it is the extended version of programming languages like Java and C. Like the derivatives of C language are known as C Python. Also, these variants are used in interpreter as well as compiler mode. You can use them in interpreter as well as compiler modes. Also, there are many Java variants which are also known as Java Python. There are many variants of Python, Python that is of Java language, C Python of C language, Python of browsers, Ruby Python of Ruby programming languages, PyPy of self-implemented. There are many versions of Python. Also, actually Python also supports multiple returns. Multiple returns means Python supports unlike other programming languages and Java and C, it supports multiple returns. It can actually show you it can give you output of multiple things without any it's more easy. It uses English language, so it's more easy, and also because of the free libraries and stuff, it is more easier to use Python. Okay. Also, yeah, that's it with Python. I don't think so. There's something left into it. Other libraries such as Mat.lib, also Skitlearn used for machine learning. We'll be discussing them in another bootcamp also in the future. So yeah, let me just go through with the PPT here. I explained you what is pandas, use of pandas, how can you install pandas, how can you import data set in panda, how can you output data set in panda, how can you view and understand data frames in panda, how can you understand data using describe. We did with describe, we did with shape, and we can get your all columns and column names, your row and your column names. You can check the missing values using is null. You can slice, it means you can isolate your one column or two columns using pandas. You can isolate your one row, two or more rows. You can use location and integer location method to fetch rows, and it has variants to do that. Also, you can use the conditional slicing if you want to just say key which value in the nitrogen column has 78, then it will print you the entire row. How can you clean the data using Python is null dot sum value. How can you deal with the missing data? It has two ways: dropping the missing values, replacing the missing values. How can you deal with duplicate data? How can you rename your columns? How will you do the data analysis in Python? You can did the dot describe method above, right? It is also used in data analysis. You can use mean median. You can change or create new columns based on existing columns. You can use value counts accordingly. You can normalize your values. You can sort your values, or if you don't want to sort your values, you can do that